Hi, so in this video we will talk about infections in neonates. Let's start from Marrow 6th edition. Superficial infections and systemic infections. First, starting with the superficial infections, let's start with omphalitis. So, omphalitis is infection of umbilical cord. It can present as redness, as induration, as pus discharge around the umbilicus, and if untreated, it can lead to systemic infections, even sepsis. Okay, so how will we manage it? Management depends upon the size of induration, presence of sepsis, and how will we treat. So first one, if the size of induration is less than 1 centimeter, no, if the size of induration is less than 1 centimeter and there is no sepsis, then we can use 0.5% gentian wallet 4 times a day. Topical 0.5% gentian wallet 4 times a day. And if the size is more than 1 centimeter of this omphalitis and there is sepsis, yes or no, then we have to give systemic antibiotic and treat like sepsis. This was the first superficial infection, that is omphalitis. Second superficial infection is oral thrush, that is by Candida species, and it is differentiated from the other white oral lesions by difficulty in wiping the lesion and presence of hemorrhagic spots after forceful removal. So this is how we will diagnose that it's oral thrush, that it will be difficult to wipe and there will be hemorrhagic spots after forceful removal. Treated with the topical nystatin or clotrimazole 4 times a day till all the lesions are resolved. Okay, so it is treated with what? Topical nystatin or clotrimazole 4 times a day till all the lesions are resolved. Fine. So how are we treating this oral thrush? By topical nystatin or clotrimazole 4 times a day, and up till all the lesions are resolved. The third infection that we are going to talk about is conjunctivitis, that is also known as the ophthalmia neonatorum. It is acquired during the delivery of the baby along the infected birth canal. So it can be caused either by the gonococci or chlamydia. Neisseria gonorrhea is the gonococci is caused by uh, gon- organism is Neisseria gonorrhea, and time of presentation is from day 3 to 7, and discharge is copious and purulent, and treatment is IV ceftriaxone or cefotaxime for 7 to 10 days. IV antibiotics are used in this gonococci conjunctivitis. Okay, and if caused by chlamydia, then in the organism is Chlamydia trachomatis, time of presentation from the 5th day of delivery. Discharge is scanty, and oral azithromycin for 3 days or erythromycin for 14 days. Azithro for 3 days or erythro for 14 days is used in case of chlamydia, which presents on the day 5th from the 5th day of delivery, and the discharge is scanty. Talking about this gonococcal conjunctivitis, it is treated as an emergency. Blindness and systemic infection can occur if untreated, and 0.5% erythromycin eye ointment is used as a prophylaxis against ophthalmia neonatorum. Okay, so ophthalmia neonatorum, we use what? This 0.5% erythromycin eye ointment as a prophylaxis. This was all about the superficial infections. In this, we did 3 infections. First was omphalitis, second one is oral thrush, and third one was conjunctivitis. Moving ahead to the systemic infection, first one that we are going to read about is the neonatal sepsis in the first month of life. It is the second most common cause of the neonatal mortality after prematurity, and this is a very important thing to remember, that it is the first most common cause of neonatal mortality is prematurity, and second most common cause is the neonatal sepsis. It is diagnosed by the presence of clinical features of sepsis along with bacteremia, presence of bacteria in the blood as detected by the blood culture. In India, most common causative organism is the Klebsiella, then Staphylococcus aureus, and then E. coli. But worldwide, it is group B Streptococci. Okay. But in India, what is the most common organism causing sepsis? It is Klebsiella, then Staphylococcus aureus, and then E. coli. There are two kinds of sepsis. First one is the early onset sepsis, and second one is the late onset sepsis. So let's talk about them side by side. Early onset sepsis, it occurs early within 72 hours of life, and this late onset sepsis after 72 hours of life. That is early onset sepsis within 3 days of the birth, and late onset sepsis after 3 days of the birth. Source of early onset sepsis is from the mother in uterus passage via the birth canal. Okay, and the source of the late onset sepsis is hospital acquired infection. Mostly it is nosocomial. Risk factors: chorioamnionitis, high fever in the mother plus foul smelling liquor. This is chorioamnionitis. Duration of the rupture of membrane of more than 24 hours or more than 72 hours, then very high risk. But if more than 24 hours of the rupture of membrane, then it is also a risk factor for early onset sepsis. And if there is preterm premature rupture of membrane, any duration, and more than 3 unclean vaginal examination, that can also lead to early onset sepsis. Fine. So these were all the causes that can lead to early onset sepsis. First one is the chorioamnionitis, in which there is high grade fever and foul smelling liquor in the mother. If the duration of the rupture of membrane is more than 24 hours, and if 72 hours, then it is very high risk. Also, preterm premature rupture of the membrane. And last one, more than 3 unclean vaginal examination can lead to early onset sepsis. Now, the risk factors for the late onset sepsis. First is the unclean hands of the health personnel, most important preventable cause. Second one is the preterm or the low birth weight babies. They are at higher risk of late onset sepsis, and absence of breastfeeding. It can also lead to late onset sepsis. Now, the type of infection: in the early onset sepsis, it will be pneumonia, and in the late onset sepsis, it will be septicemia or meningitis. Now, how will we diagnose the neonatal sepsis? Any sick baby, we have to suspect sepsis and start the IV antibiotic. No single most important clinical feature is diagnostic. Early feature will be altered feeding pattern and the baby will be lethargic. Reliable feature: hypothermia, more reliable in the preterm babies than the fever. So in preterm babies, we have to look for hypothermia. It is more reliable than fever also. Okay, and manifestation of the affected organ system like the respiratory distress and seizures etc. can occur. Management: how are we going to manage the neonatal sepsis? Gold standard is blood culture. It takes 40 to 72 hours to get the report. Till then, we have to start the empirical antibiotics and screen for the sepsis using the 5 components. Presence of any two is significant. So there is a screening for sepsis, and presence of any two is significant. Let's look at them. This is screening of the sepsis. Okay. First one is the total leukocyte count. If less than 5,000 per mm cube, that means immature immune system. This one is the abnormal value of it. Okay, absolute neutrophil count of less than 1800, immature total neutrophil ratio of more than 20% immature neutrophils, or ratio of more than 0.2, micro ESR more than 15 mm per hour, and CRP more than 1 mg per dl. Fine. So the sepsis screen has a negative predictive value and it helps to rule out the infection. If the screening is negative, then there is absence of disease, and if the screen is positive, we need to do blood culture to confirm the sepsis. Okay. Now the role of C-reactive protein. CRP raises only 6 to 12 hours after the infection and it peaks by 24 hours. Disadvantage is it is negative in the early infection. A newer and better marker of the inflammation is procalcitonin, and it raises in 4 to 6 hours after the infection and peaks by 24 hours. Procalcitonin is not routinely used in sepsis screening. Other investigation which can be done is, we saw right in preterm, no, early onset sepsis, we were suspecting pneumonia, so we have to do the chest X-ray in case of suspected pneumonia, and lumbar puncture in all the symptomatic babies with the suspected or confirmed sepsis. We need to do lumbar puncture also. Asymptomatic babies, there is presence of risk factor. Lumbar puncture is not required. So, right, lumbar puncture was done. Asymptomatic babies, there is presence of risk factor, so lumbar puncture is not required. Now coming to the management, how are we going to manage this? let's see. We first read about the diagnosis, then management. In management, we saw about the gold standard and the sepsis screening and the role of C-reactive protein. Now we are coming to the treatment part. First one, we have to start with the empirical antibiotics. So empirical antibiotics need to cover both the gram-positive and the gram-negative organism. Gram-positive organism can be covered by the penicillin group, that is ampicillin, and the gram-negative group can be covered by aminoglycosides like the amikacin. Fine. So amikacin to cover the gram-negative organism and ampicillin to cover the gram-positive one. No response to treatment by 48 hours, that is severe infections such as meningitis and septic shock. Then we need to add the cephalosporin, third generation cephalosporin like the cefotaxime or the ceftriaxone. Suspected Staphylococcus aureus infection, then we need to add the fluoxacillin. In case of MRSA, we need to add the vancomycin. In NICU with high incidence of resistant strains, we need to give cefotaxime or piptaz or ciprofloxacin along with amikacin. This was all about the antibiotics. So, how are we starting with? We were starting with the empirical antibiotics of ampicillin or amikacin together. Then we were moving on. If there was severe infection and no response to treatment after 48 hours, then we were moving on to third generation cephalosporin. And if we are suspecting Staphylococcus aureus infection, we need to add the fluoxacillin. And if MRSA is suspected, we need to add vancomycin. Now, in case of NICU with high incidence of resistance, we need to give cefotaxime, piptaz, ciprofloxacin, any one of these, along with amikacin. Duration of antibiotic therapy in the neonatal sepsis. So, if it is a culture negative sepsis, screening positive, and clinical course consistent with the sepsis, then we need to give antibiotics for 5 to 7 days. In case of culture negative sepsis, if there is blood culture positive sepsis without meningitis, we need to give antibiotics for 14 days. In case of culture positive sepsis, and if there is meningitis, then we need to give antibiotics for 3 weeks, that is 21 days. And if there is ventriculitis that is diagnosed using MRI, then we need to give antibiotics for 4 to 6 weeks. This is something we need to remember. In culture negative sepsis, 5 to 7 days. Blood culture positive without meningitis, 14 days. Meningitis, 3 weeks. And then ventriculitis, 4 to 6 weeks. So this is all about this chapter. Infection in neonates.